something is happening here. An open letter to the corner poets of 16th and Mission.
Oh, for sure. Oh, shit.
Hard-headed, conventional academic lit crit would die, deservedly, on the cold pavement of San Francisco's 16th Street and Mission. How do you like this? This is like spoken word essay. Spoken word journalism.
It's a new genre.
A new genre is being invented right here. Where every Thursday night at 10 p.m., over to, this is maybe exaggerated, 300 people in their early 20s, plus a few oldsters, like me, come out to a chilly street corner behind the BART station to sit on the cold ground hugging a chalk circle and listen as one after another poets jump up to recite long memorized and often extraordinarily original poems. There is a gentle air traffic controller named Charlie Getter, a poet founder of this event, who presides from a removed, gently settling disputes between poets or drunks with tact and good vibes. What famed literary theoreticians like Harold Bloom or Helen Vendlew would surmise from this can hardly be imagined, but they might gouge digital archives and research libraries to find historical and sociological precedent for this, for what this is, and in so doing, compare you corner poets to the Beats, the Diggers, the SDS, or the folk singers of the Civil Rights Movement, or poets of the Brecht Circle, or the Panthers, or weathermen, or polemicists of the Russian Revolution, orating to the oppressed plebeian masses, or to those passionate versifiers of the Spanish Republic who proclaimed to crowds from crumbling balconies in Madrid. But any effort to categorize you is bound to end up as suicide. The whole body of thought, carefully researched and annotated bullshit, whacking head first into the bone-crushing sidewalk of 16th and Mission like a body with a self-inflicted bullet wound. Because this is something else, something new. This is not Woodstock Redux or CBGB's Outdoors. This is not Ginsberg's famed Howl reading at the Gallery 6 or the stage-drunk canned rage of Poetry Slam.
What is it?
This is American literary culture driven out into the street.
Oh, shit!
A grapes of wrath of spoken word. Here, no death knell tolls over internet-crushed books and bookstores. Here, private bourgeois capital does not meet lyric sensibility to produce Billy Collins. Here, the halls of academe do not mutter with the sterile obscuranticism of Anne Carson, or echo with the shrill, outmoded machinating ambitions of Jory Graham. Here, the pages of the New Yorker is so much toilet paper used to wipe the ass of crack addicts and homeless drunks. This is American culture made homeless not only by the ruthless grade of real estate, but by a middle-class literary establishment demanding safety, not experiment, reassurance, not rebirth. There is no reassurance offered on the corner. As the reading begins, one of the poets dances out a poem about what it's like for a young woman to squat and piss in the streets of San Francisco. Another reads a love poem to the poet who can read, just read, acknowledging that love might just last a day. Another belts out a versified scream about the failure of language to capture her dehumanizing experience, alleging that language is a tool of the establishment. And a tall young man with shoulder-length hair describes this historic moment as a turning point into a new kind of revolution of intelligent love. Listening behind the seated crowd, late-night pack bell workers, bemused homecoming office drones and horn-rimmed glasses, shy, late middle-aged silver foxes wishing they were 20 years younger, and drunks who can barely stand. On the ground in the hundreds, circle after circle of young people lean on each other, passing around bottles of wine and nodding in agreement or cheering or listening with intensely focused eyes. No, this is not the McDowell Colony or Breadloaf or Poetry Wednesdays at the museum with a lineup of doe-eyed faux Emily Dickinsons with 3 names and dressed in thread-worn Laura Ashley frocks. Or Gray Temple Pulitzer Prizers published by Knopf, pontificating on panels about how to get their work into good mags, and the bloodless audience is nodding off folding chairs. This is private human anguish offered to the public like a sacrifice. spiritual ceremony that harkens back to the days of ancient Greece, of the Acropolis and prophecies, and the idea of furies and outraged gods, and of the downfall of blind kings, and of the tragic, desperate, universal need for catharsis. This is verbalization of the simple but ever more impossible request to find love and get safely and beautifully laid, and to play in the sun, and to get paid for honest work, and make rent, and have friends, and maybe a kid, or even just a pet cat with health care. And above all, of the right to smile like you may really mean it to a community of others who do too. This is about being a young woman in a world that destroys young women, a young man in a world that destroys young men. This is about war to the death for the survival of the human, and sung out for free without thought of recompense on a dirty street corner, like some great Puccini aria rising amid the trash cans and empties. I get the feeling that for some of the poets, the next stop would be a grave or the madhouse were it not for the corner. And the poems read like confessions of aborted suicides, rapes, incarcerations, heartbreaks, poverty, state monitoring, and mind-snapping bad trip experiences that have transformed them into Dionysians of verse, enacting linguistic life and death spectacles at the public edge of a private abyss. But though societally brutalized, they are young, and there is joy among the poets and their audience. Let us honor this courageous audience as much as its poets, who make fun of themselves and of everything, for without laughter we would die. These are the children of the post-Bush depression, nursed on 911, disintegrated, divorced families, racism that won't vanish, and of elephantine bodies fed on the empty calories of Costco's and McDonald's, dwelling amidst a population that have grown to 4 times normal human size, and who are perishing horribly each day by the millions of diabetic blindness, cancers, and amputations, and soul death. A generation in flight from a culture drowning in kitsch, and from a world's end of bankrupted news sources and fiscal scandals. A society that sanctions torture, exalts commercial and political brainwashing, and thinks nothing of booting penniless old folks and their lifetimes from their mortgaged homes and out into the gutter. The corner is an altar upon which each Thursday night you lay the heart of a generation born into a pitiless world. You are the apotheosis into poetry of a jobless and broke, scrambling to survive generation, of the murdered book, of a devalued and disgraced literary culture, of boarded up bookstores in the advent of soul-numbing Orwellian technology, and of a new world religion with Steve Jobs as its messiah, Obama as a lamb caught in its crosshairs, and Oprah as the Virgin Mary. And what are your names? You don't even say. When you jump into the magic chalk circle, you just start to read. Some know you, but many don't. What kind of fame is this? Or stupendously, its refutation? What is this rising up of nameless voices reaching for the world's soul from out of a Mission Street corner? Whatever happened to Warhol's 15 minutes? Gone, dead, trashed, lying with empty Campbell soup cans and charred remnants of crashed Pow Zoom cartoon jets amid the black trash bags and foraging rats of the post-pop over and done with modern. This is not modernism or its successor. This is Paleolithic post-historic. Because what does fame matter in a culture where everybody has it on YouTube? What's in a world, what's in a name in a world that twitters? Now we must live for something else. But I'm old school. And I believe that there is a kind of fame that does not degrade those who earn it with talent and courage as you do. There is a kind of fame that is meaningful when deserved, and that elevates its owners to something more than a sneaker brand or a skateboard line, or they get snapped up by Apple or Levi's, once face used to sell iPods and chinos. So let me name your names aloud, at least the ones I know, because you are the future heroes whose turn on the wheel has come. And I believe that someday all will know and celebrate the name of Charlie Getter, that brave and gifted poet who kept the corner alive when its founders had fallen away. And let me utter in loud praise the names of the corner poets whom I see Thursday nights, giving away everything you have for free to any stranger, and in so doing making the strangeness less strange, and all of us members of a corner family of poets. Shy Powers, Stellar Cassidy, J. Brandon Loberg, Nick Garrett, Sam Sachs, Nick Alea, Dunce Apprentice, Amber Bouman, Andrew Paul Nelson, Bonnie Nose, Dusty Rose, E.K. Keith, Ginger Murray, Guinevere Q, James Marchettie, Jared Hannum, Kate Abarbanel, M.G. Martin, Miguel Pereira, Mike Skott McCullough, Mumbles, Pam Benjamin, Patrick Donahue, Sasha Tversky, and Sean Taylor. All of whom will be meeting here today. I honor your names with pride and respect and proclaim loudly to the world, because in your quest for community and expression, you have become very famous to me and are helping to heal my own longing for a world in which being human matters once again. Thank you.